What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Listen, just wanted to go a little bit more over kind of velocity-based training. There are a lot of numbers that come out of it, so I'm just going to give you kind of a little tidbit on what each of them is, because we do follow different protocols for different people during different activities. So what we have here is what you're going to be getting. You'll see somebody going through a squat, and then you'll see the numbers pop up. And what we have here is we have average velocity, right? So we have 0.32 meters per second. Right now, that doesn't mean much to you, but when you put those numbers to a certain graph, we'll notice that 0.5 to 0.6 meters per second will give you a very heavy, slow lift, right? Because we're moving 0.5 meters in 1 second. Just make life easy. Then if you wanted to go with like what we call starting strength, is your ability to start and explode, that is going to be up between 0.75 and 0.9, right? Then if we want what's called strength speed, is that you have a little bit more strength than you need for speed, which would be a little bit a little bit lighter. That's more 0.75 to 0.93 to 0.95. After you get over 0.95 to 1.0, we're going more of what we call absolute speed, right? So that is just being able to explode, not a lot of weight. That will all be dictated by the sport you play. That will be dictated by the activity that you're doing and your goal of the exercise or of that whole program. So let's dive in a little bit more, right? So right here we have average power. That's in watts. That's the amount of power, the average out of every one that you've done so far, how much wattage you've been putting up. That is dependent on speed. Well, we'll show you that next. That is dependent on average speed, your peak speed, but also the weight that you lift and the distance you travel. We do track distance we travel just to make sure you're not truly going down all the way to 90 degrees, cheaters. Anyway, moving on. So then we also have relative average power, watts per kilogram. That's going to be more toward like your bikers, your runners. Although if I find a heavy watts per kilogram, I'm going to try and bias that into some of my activities to get people a little bit stronger. But I'm an idiot. So next thing we have is go ahead and slide that up a little bit. Now we go down to average velocity. I actually wanted peak velocity, but we have average velocity, which is the same as up top. So with peak velocity, that's going to tell you how fast you have moved that weight, whatever that distance is. Why is that important? Well, it's really not. It's kind of an ego thing. Some people just like to see a big, huge number. I'm not a big fan of seeing big peak power. That tells me that you just have that and you're done. If I could see that consistently over every one of these, then we're talking a different story. But if your peak power is up and down, but your average velocity is the same, we have a lot to discuss. So that is just in a nutshell of what we have for just these numbers. There's a ton more. We have pop 100, we have pop 200, we have pop 300, which is the time it takes for you to slow your body down, totally stop, and your first 0.1 second, or your 10th of a second, your 20th of a second, or your 30th of a second, right out of that position. So much to learn, so much to do. Glad we have a lot of time to do it. Happy training.